So, who read the book?
I am.
Raise your hand if you read the book. Everybody, awesome. Everybody read the book. Am I still in frame? Well, we can edit these parts out. It's movie magic. We'll put some star fades and stuff like that. So, the book that we read, Carrots Love Tomatoes by Louise Riot, is basically about companion planting. There were some other things in there, some other information about gardening in general, but the overall theme that we were trying to go for this month was companion planting, which, you know, what plants go with what can you plant next to something to, you know, get bugs away and, you know, certain pests that eat certain bugs. So, dive right into it. While companion planting has a long history, the mechanisms of beneficial plant interaction have been well understood. Traditional recommendations used by gardeners have evolved from an interesting combination of historical observations, horticulture science, and a few unconventional sources. This is not a new method. Companion planting has been around for centuries. The Native Americans have been doing it for as long as they've been planting crops and growing different things. There's actually stories about companion planting. One is called The Legend of the Three Sisters. The term Three Sisters emerged from the Iroquois creation myth. It was said that when the earth began, the Sky Woman, who lived in the upper world, peered through a hole in the sky and fell through to an endless sea. The animals saw her coming, so they took the soil from the bottom of the sea, spread it onto the back of a giant turtle to provide a safe place for her land. This turtle island is now what we call North America. Sky Woman had become pregnant before she fell. When she landed, she gave birth to a daughter. When the daughter grew into a young woman, she also became pregnant by the west wind. She died while giving birth to the twin boys. Sky Woman buried her daughter in the new earth. From her grave grew three sacred plants: corns, beans, and squash. These plants provided food for her sons and later for all humanity. These special gifts ensured the survival of the Iroquois people. The reason that corn, beans, and squash is used as a reoccurring theme in Native American lore is because they are companion plants and they grow together very well. So, traditional companion planting can be described as the establishment of two or more plant species in close proximity so that the cultural benefit, pest control, higher yield, etc., is derived. The concept embraces a number of strategies that increase biodiversity of the agroecosystems. So we're just going to look at a few from Carrots Love Tomatoes that were talked about. So just to see the crops, asparagus, companions for those are tomato, parsley, basil. And it goes to show there's nothing incompatible with it. You'll see later on, specifically with beans and bush, Irish potato, cucumber, corn, strawberry, celery, summer savory are all compatible, but you never want to plant onions next to beans. You can look over this real fast just to get an idea. Everybody getting a good idea of what's going on? Oh, yeah. So, trap cropping. Sometimes a neighboring crop may be selected because it's more attractive to specific pests. It serves to distract them from the main crop. An excellent example of this is the use of collards to draw the diamondback moth away from cabbage. Diamondback moth goes after cabbage, that's what it really likes to eat. So by planting collards next to this specific plant, in this case cabbage, it's drawing the moths away from it and it's actually repelling them. Symbiotic nitrogen fixation. Legumes such as peas, beans, and clover have the ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen for their own use and for the benefit of neighboring plants via symbiotic relationship with rhizobium bacteria. Forage legumes, for example, are commonly seeded with grass to reduce the need for nitrogen fertilizer. Likewise, beans are sometimes interplanted with corn. So growing green beans within your corn crop is going to raise the nitrogen level of the soil and promote further growth and higher yield in your corn. Biochemical pest suppression. Some plants exude chemicals from roots or aerial parts that suppress or repel pests that protect neighboring plants. The African marigold, for example, releases thiopene, a nematode repellent, making it a good companion for a number of garden crops. The manufacture and release of certain biochemicals is also a factor in plant antagonism. All allochemicals, such as juglans, found in black walnut, suppress the growth of a wide range of other plants, which often creates a problem in home horticulture. A positive use of plant allopathy is the use of mow-killed grass, rye, as a mulch. This allochemicals that leach from the rye residue prevent weed germination but do not harm transplanted tomatoes, broccoli, or many other vegetables. So a perfect example of this in your garden, the way you have your garden growing, obviously everybody's going to fence off their garden to keep out rabbits and other large animals that would love to eat vegetables. So around your fence, you could grow hops, the main thing, one of the things to make a mash for making beer. So hops actually repels pests and it repels bugs. So if you grow hops, which is a vine, much like a green bean vine or a tomato vine, which would grow up, it actually encompass the fence and create a barrier for bugs. And not only that, you can make your own tasty, tasty beer at the end of your growing season. And homemade beer is fantastic. So just, if anybody, was unfamiliar with some of the terms that were on there, we all read the book, but just in case you need a refresher, here they are. Physical spatial interactions. Sounds scientific-y. Is that a right word? Mm-hmm. Yeah. For example, tall-growing, sun-loving plants may share space with lower-growing, shade-tolerant species, resulting in higher total yields from the land. Spatial interactions can also yield pest control benefits. The diverse canopy resulting when corn is companion planted with squash or pumpkins is believed to disorient the adult squash vine borer and protect the vining crop from this damaging pest. In turn, the presence of the prickly vines is said to discourage rodents from ravaging the sweet corn. Anybody that's been to a pumpkin patch or, picked any squash knows that those vines are no fun to get caught in. Nurse cropping. Tall or dense canopied plants may protect more vulnerable species through shading or by providing a windbreak. Nurse crops such as oats have long been used to help establish alfalfa and other foragers by supplanting the more competitive weeds that would otherwise grow in their place. In many instances, nurse cropping is simply another form of physical spatial interaction. And again, some definitions for you there at the bottom if you're not sure. Beneficial habitats. So beneficial habitats are sometimes called refugia. Refugia or refugia? Refugia. There you go. Are another type of companion plant interaction that has drawn considerable attention in recent years. The benefit is derived when companion plants provide a desirable environment for beneficial insects and other arthropods, especially those predatory to parasitic species which help keep pest population in check. Predators include ladybug beetles, lacewings, hoverflies, mantids, robber flies, and non-insects such as spiders and predatory mites. Parasites include a wide range of fly and wasp species, including tacinid flies and trichogramma, and you can read that one, wasps. Agroecologists believe that by developing systems to include habitats that draw sustained beneficial insects, the twin objectives by reducing both pest damage and pesticide can be attained. For detailed information, you can go to the ATTRA publication, Farmscaping to Enhance Biological Control. The ATTRA is the appropriate technology transfer for rural areas. They do a lot of companion planting guides. They talk a lot about companion planting. They basically you can get like a starter booklet on, a layout of what to plant with what and how to lay out your garden, so you don't have to reference a book over and over again and, make sure you're planting what with what. It just gives you pretty much a schematic of how to plant your garden. Security through diversity. A more general mixing of various crops and varieties provides a degree of security to the grower. If pests or adverse conditions reduce or destroy a single crop or cultivator, others remain to produce some level of yield. Furthermore, the simple mixing of cultivars, as demonstrated with broccoli in the University of California research, can reduce aphid infestation in crops. And companion vegetable gardening, it's said that vegetables are like people, they thrive on companionship. It is believed that vegetables will yield up to twice as much when they are surrounded with companion plants. So in this article, we'll discuss the top 12 vegetables and their best friends. If you're getting ready to plant your vegetable garden, you may want to try placing the various vegetable crops so you can take advantage of their natural friends. If you have already planted your vegetables, you may want to make some changes in your subsequent planting later this summer. Here's the top 12 and their ideal companions. Beans like celeries and cucumber, but they don't like onions. Beets, bush beans, lettuce, onions. Most members of the cabbage family are companion plants. If anybody grows mustard, not sure how many people actually do, but keep mustard away from them. Cabbage, celery, dill, onions, potatoes are good companion plants. They don't like strawberries or tomatoes, specifically because of the way strawberries and tomatoes grow. They grow very aggressively. Yes. Tomatoes, strawberries, and pole beans grow very aggressively, and they can sometimes attack the cabbage. Carrots, leaf lettuce, radish, onions, tomatoes, but plant dill away from them. Corn, pumpkins, beans, cucumbers, potatoes are all nice companions. Keep tomatoes away because tomatoes are going to try and grow up the stalks, whereas the pumpkins, the peas, the beans, they're going to sort of intertwine at the bottom of the stalk. Cucumbers, again, they like corn, peas, radishes, beans, sunflowers, but keep them away from aromatic herbs and potatoes. Lettuce grows especially well with onions, strawberries, carrots, radishes, cucumbers. Onions, plant them near lettuce, beets, strawberries, keep them away from peas and beans. Carrots, cucumbers, corn, turnips, radishes, peas, potatoes, aromatic herbs, but keep peas away from onions, garlic, leeks, and shallots. Everybody getting the general theme of the way plants grow with what to plant with them. Obviously a plant that's going to overtake another plant you're going to want to stay away from. Tomatoes are probably the trickiest plant to plant with another plant, although there are a good amount of companion plants that tomatoes have. Radishes, beets, carrots, spinach, parsnips. Radishes grow well with cucumbers and beans. Summer planting near leaf lettuce makes radishes more tender, but avoid planting them near cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, kohlrabi, and turnips. Squash, plant them next to icicle radish, cucumbers, and corn. And tomatoes, carrots, onions, and parsley. But again, keep them away from cabbage, cauliflower, anything that they can really weave into. Sometimes plant friendships are one-sided. Carrots are said to help beans, but beans don't reciprocate. Though beans will help nearby cucumbers, other plants have bad companions, and you'll be doing them a favor keeping them apart. Beans and onions are natural enemies, so keep them on opposite sides of the garden. If you have a patio, you might try mint to repel ants, basil to keep the flies away, mosquitoes away,